Listen, let's just get into it. We've been talking about Dolly Parton now for a couple of minutes, speaking about the real deal. Every time Dolly Parton opens her mouth, I think, wow, this person is doing everything she can to follow Christ. Like, it just strikes me that every time she opens her mouth, what she says is filled with grace. What she says is filled with compassion. It's filled with wisdom. It's filled with, it's filled with a particular theological interpretation that comes when a person's heart desires to connect to everyone else and anyone else. A person whose heart is striving to be more like the heart that Jesus calls us to have. I'm amazed by her. Now, a friend, Owen and Hammer here, you can, like I said, you can blame them. They sent me a video they sent me a link to a video by the Damage Report, a video, the Damage Report, TYT's Damage Report. And they do a weekly segment called Garbage People where they pick their least favorite people. He and his co-host of the day, they pick their least favorite person of that week, and they talk about them and they talk about why. And his co-host this week, the host co-host this week, picked a person by the name of Erica Anderson, who works for something called the Federalist. Erica Anderson printed a story about Dolly Parton, where she she criticizes Dolly Parton and Dolly Parton's non-judgmental version of a Christian life. She in the article, she talks about some of the things that Dolly Parton has said, some of the things that she's done, some of the ways that she's spoken about living. The bottom line is, it comes down to Dolly Parton trying to love everybody, right? So they asked her, how is it that you have fans from every stripe, of every demographic? She said, well, I just try to love everybody, in her Dolly Parton way. I don't judge, she says. I don't condemn. I just love. I just accept. And this author, this writer was really bothered by that. And was really bothered that Dolly Parton doesn't want to judge people, and that Dolly Parton wants to love everybody. And, this was sort of all in the context of Pride Month, and, the struggles that trans people can have, and some of the ways that I think our communities are being asked to change and to be accommodating in order to be inclusive and welcoming to everybody. And this writer just really didn't really like Dolly's take on things. But I'll tell you, again, for me, Dolly Parton is the person I want to be if I ever grow up. It's amazing how Christ-like I find her to be. It's amazing. You can think of people like Jimmy Carter's another one that comes to mind. The sort of, they seem to come from a similar generation. I know Jimmy Carter's significantly older, but there's something so similar about these two people. The spirit, maybe it's the spirit that you see in them that is so similar to one another. It's just a spirit of love, for sure, but it's a spirit of kindness. It's a spirit of hope. Oh my gosh, it's definitely a spirit of hope. It's a spirit of welcome and hospitality. It's the spirit of Christ. In the two of them, it's the Spirit of Christ. Now, there's others, I'm sure, and I bet you, if you look around your own life, you will see that there's people, and maybe you're one of them, right? But there are people in our lives, all of us have met people who've never become famous, who've never become powerful, who've never become rich, but they have that same spirit. They carry within inside of them that same spirit, and they live according to the instruction of that spirit. They live according to the call of that spirit. They live according to the direction of that spirit. And because they do, they bring with them a light that is, it's blinding. It's absolutely surprising. It's unique. And it's something that draws people to. You're not afraid of it. You're not afraid of it. There's just a gravity that pulls you towards those kinds of folks. I mean, that's who, in all the videos that I've ever done, and I challenge us, and usually towards the end of a video, I'll challenge us to become something greater, to grow, to become more Christ-like, to love on a deeper level, to forgive on a deeper level, to be more merciful, to be kinder and gentler, to be more patient, whatever it is that I'm asking us to do. All of it is because I want to encourage you. I want to encourage myself to become more like that Jewish carpenter who we call a rabbi. That Jewish carpenter whose feet we sit at and learn from. It's about becoming more like Jesus, and again, people like Dolly Parton, and the way she gives witness to the love of God in a public forum, without ever being pushy, without ever being bossy, without trying to shove the gospel down your throat. She just is the gospel. Or I shouldn't say that. She would probably be mortified if I said that, if she heard me say that, because I already said it. But she just strikes me as a person who is trying to be a physical manifestation of the gospel in our world. She's trying to be more like that Jewish rabbi whose feet we all want to sit at. The prayer here is, if you can't imagine Jesus, if you can't imagine what he would have been like, what he would have sounded like, if you can't imagine what he would have looked like and how he would have spoken to you, if you can't imagine what it would have been like to be in his presence, well, maybe looking at a person like Dolly Parton, and listen, don't get me wrong, I'm certain she's done her stuff. I'm certain she's not perfect, that she's a sinner like the rest. But man, listen to her. Watch her. Look at how she treats her neighbors. Look at how she treats the world around her. Look at how she offers hope. Look at how she challenges and encourages and supports. And if you can't imagine what she'd be like, then I bet you there's somebody in your life. I bet you there's somebody in your life that just exemplify that same spirit. You can see it in them. You can feel it. You're drawn to it. It's great. It's great when we have these kinds of examples. I feel enriched. I feel enriched, and I feel empowered, and I feel lucky and fortunate, and I feel challenged when I encounter through the media, because we're not all as lucky as Vicky to have met people like Dolly Parton numerous times when we were younger, but when I feel fortunate that here's this person, a person of means that I can admire, and I can hope to emulate these good qualities. I hope to unleash the Spirit of God that's within me, and this is very true for all of you. I hope we can all unleash that Spirit of God that's within us all, as it seems she is doing, as it seems she's done, as it seems she's trying to do more of. You can't knock Dolly Parton. You can't go after her. She's, as we've said, national, international treasure. But that isn't just because she's a great songwriter, and it isn't just because she's a great singer or a great performer. It's because of her spirit. It's because of that spirit that dwells within her that she is willing to unleash, that she's willing to follow. Let's be more like Dolly. Amen. Now, I say that, and who knows what tomorrow will be, but for today, let's be more like Dolly. Amen.